and welcome back to Sports the NEMO Way, the Chicago Bears edition. The Bears.
Yep.
And we will just get underway quickly. Well, hold on. I gotta announce something. This is a weird episode because, as we've previously announced, Mark Tyler is supposed to be here for the Bears episode, but Mark Tyler couldn't be here for this episode, which is actually good that we weren't planning on having him be here anyway because Mark tested positive for COVID yesterday. So Mark is out sick. So get better, Mark. But I do have his list, so we can say the four guys he has on his list. So we got a new guest, somebody is the first-time guest. Brock is here, our youngest ever guest. Yes, even younger than Drew.
Yep.
So we have a new guest in Brock, a resident Bears fan. So we will get his picks coming up. And now we will get underway with Drew. Drew, who's your number 4, buddy? With your Bears.
Brian Urlacher.
Brian Urlacher. Well, Urlacher is Mark's number 4, and he is my number 3.
Okay. Really?
Yes.
Urlacher is my 4.
Okay.
Didn't make my list.
Didn't make you.
Didn't make my list either.
Nope.
Right.
Urlacher's my favorite Bear. I mean, obviously I'm not a Bears fan like Drew or Brock, but when I was growing up and when Alex was growing up, Brian Urlacher was he was the fucking boss. He was the man in Chicago for a while.
Well, there was always the famous argument: who's the best middle linebacker in the league, Urlacher or Lewis?
And it was a real argument for a while. Urlacher didn't have the sustained success of Lewis, but he was an absolute monster for a while.
So he's got his own Defensive Player of the Year, and he's 5-time All-Pro, 8-time Pro Bowl. So
yeah,
and he was an all-time Bear. He could have left there at the end of his career, but he decided just to retire. He didn't want to wear a jersey for 1 year somewhere else. So, I mean, I'll give him credit for that, not wanting to leave.
Well, I mean, obviously there's a technicality here because they don't have everybody's, but he's technically the Bears' all-time leading tackler.
I mean, that's something. They started. When is the actual official date that they?
The official date that every team, I found this out today, the official date that every team in the league started counting tackles all over the league, it became official, was like 2000.
Okay.
Like we don't have official tackle stats for everybody in the league until then.
I found unofficials for the other linebackers we'll probably talk about here later for the Bears. I
I
did
feel like that's a
digging
bit
on
late.
them. For a stat as fundamentalist tackles, you would have thought they'd been tracking it sooner than 2000.
But then we've had guys that we had their tackles in the 80s.
Right.
You know, so it's like it's just all over the place. So yeah. But yeah, like Drew said, he's got a Defensive Player of the Year. He's got a Rookie of the Year or Defensive Rookie of the Year, I guess. He's obviously in the Hall. He's in the All 2000s team.
He got him to a Super Bowl, but he couldn't quite win.
Oh, Rex Grossman. That's hard to win with
The
Rex
defense
Grossman.
and Devin Hester did their best, but couldn't slow down Peyton enough.
You all had a good running game, didn't you?
Yeah, we had Benson and
Was Thomas Jones there?
yes, I think so.
Thomas Jones,
Yeah,
yeah.
those two.
I remember.
That's actually when you became a Bear fan. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you used to try to fuck with me
Exactly.
because my Colts were playing in there, and you were little, and you'd be like, "I'm rooting for the Bears." I was like, "Oh, Drew."
Haven't changed since. No. It's like 3.
But yeah, he's got almost 1,400 tackles. He's got 22 interceptions, 41.5 sacks.
That's the impressive part. He's all around was a freak. Some guys just tackle. Like, you have over 40 sacks and over 20 interceptions, plus you're one of the best tacklers in the entire league, like of your entire generation. Like, you were an absolute monster.
Well, I think the thing that really sets Urlacher apart is he's such a big guy, you know, playing middle linebacker at 6'4", 260, but his blazing speed at 260 pounds. He ran at 4.4 at the combine. He was literally sideline to sideline. He's not that old school huge middle linebacker that just stood between the two defensive tackles and filled a gap. like he was sideline to sideline making plays all over the place. His versatility is really what I thought set him apart as a linebacker.
Yeah, and imagine like we talked about the original Clay Matthews and how he accumulated these crazy stats. He played like 20 years almost. Urlacher played what, 12, 13?
I thought it was 13, but I'm gonna make sure.
I mean, so imagine if he stuck around and just kept accumulating, like, I mean,
13 years.
So I mean, he was 34 when he retired. So I mean, I think he started getting nicked up and had a few injuries that throughout parts of his career a couple different times, but
yeah, I mean,
a little bit,
he had slowed down a little bit, I think, there towards the end, but he was still playing relatively well. His last year in the league, he only played 12 games, and he had 68 tackles. He had an interception. He
couple fumble recoveries. So, he was still doing stuff out there for the Bears that even in his last year. I mean, because especially if you extrapolate that out over a 16-game season, he's right at 100 sacks again, or close. So, anybody else have anything to add to old Urlacher before we move on? No. Mm-hmm.
So who's that leave with a 4 left? Ray, Uncle Doug, and Brock. Uncle Doug, who is your number 4?
My number 4 is Sid Luckman.
Sid Luckman is also my number 4.
Ah, okay. Yeah, Sid was brought the Bears 4 NFL titles.
Mm-hmm.
He, at the time, he held most of the passing records. Of course, that was a long time ago. 14,000 yards, 137 TDs. I think he also had 130 interceptions. But
Yeah, well, one quarterback back then
his
did
completion percentage was over 50.
That's good.
It was 52 instead of the 49. I think the one record he does still hold is he threw 7 touchdown passes in a game. So, 1 MVP, 3 Pro Bowls, 6 All-Pros. So, the original passing quarterback, kind of.
And the last good quarterback for a franchise.
Yeah, probably.
I mean,
Probably.
Who retired in 1950.
Yeah.
Yeah, your last great quarterback was born in the 19 teens.
sad.
Yeah. I mean, Mark and I had a conversation, I don't know, a while ago, about whether the Bears were the worst quarterback franchise in the history of the NFL. And he leans towards yes.
Yeah.
And he's a Bears fan. I mean,
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, I think they might be have the worst collection of quarterbacks ever.
It's been rough.
Yeah. When your highs are this guy from the 50s and Jay Cutler, I mean.
Yeah, well.
Now, the funky QB, Jim McMahon, was in there.
Jim McMahon was getting hurt every game. He could.
At least you guys have a Super Bowl. Some
We do have a
franchises can't
Super Bowl.
say that. So I'd take shitty quarterbacks in a Super Bowl than be a franchise with no Super Bowl.
I was like, other positions were fine. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with it. We got a Super Bowl.
Yeah, when you guys look through your all's team, you guys pretty much have Hall of Famers.
We have the
It
most
might-
Hall of Famers all time. Bears have 30 Hall of Famers.
Wow.
I didn't realize that you guys had the most all
Well,
time.
they've been around for so long.
Yeah.
Chicago's one of
Yeah.
the original franchises, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, what I was saying is like you guys have Hall of Famers at most positions. It just, I mean, technically you have one at quarterback, but it's just he played in the 40s, so it's just you don't really think about him. It's not the first guy we've had on our list from the 40s, though.
No.
Actually,
is
had a
why-
good collection of really old guys. Maybe
Yeah.
not from the 40s, but like some pretty old guys.
Yeah, we've had some 50s and 60s guys. We had a bunch of 70s guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we had Otto Graham. We had we had Luckman right now. Didn't we have a Lions guy from back in the day?
Oh, yeah, that linebacker.
Oh,
Yeah,
Schmidt.
he was from like the 60s.
is Jim Brown,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brown, Bart Starr.
our star. Of course, the receiver from the Packers. We had Hudson.
John Hudson.
He was from what, 50s?
Yeah.
50s?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because that was before the MVP was called the MVP. It was something else.
We've given the old guys quite a bit of love.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy Sid Luckman has one. He has a Joe F. Carr
Yeah.
trophy, which is an MVP. And like you said, 4 championships. He's made the All 40s team. Here's another guy that has it screwed up. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler and 5-time All-Pro.
I told you, dude, it's more common than you think. It happens all the time. I don't know why. I do not know.
All right. Well, does anybody else have anything to add on old Sid Luckman before we move on? So it was just me and Uncle Doug on Sid Luckman. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right. So Brock, you still have a number 4 left, correct? So Brock, who's your number 4?
Mike Ditka.
Mike Ditka.
Wow, okay.
I've got Mike Ditka at 2.
I also have him at 2.
Wow.
Really?
Nice.
Oh, wait, no. I mixed that up. Never mind. Not Mike Ditka.
I know. I was gonna say, really?
No, I know who.
You were thinking Butkus, weren't
Yeah.
you? Yeah, I was gonna say, I have Butkus on my list.
Yeah. I was multitasking. Give me a minute. I was researching something.
All right, well, we'll talk about Mike Ditka there, Brock.
Really a good tight end and coach for the Bears. As a Bear, total yards 4,503, total touchdowns 34, total receptions 316. All around good tight end, good blocker, big tight end, solid.
He's also Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
His best year was his rookie year.
Yeah.
Up until last year, he was the only tight end in NFL history to ever have 1,000 yards in his rookie season. Pitts from Atlanta is the second person to ever do it.
Yeah, he had 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns his rookie season. Ditka, I mean, not...
As a tight end that long ago, it's kind of weird.
61.
That's
Yeah.
1961,
That's
yeah.
pretty impressive.
Like, that's unheard of, really.
But he never really approached those highs again. He never had touchdown numbers, really, after that. 2 years later, he had 8. After that, everything's... most of these years he's got one, a couple years with 1, a couple years with 2, a year with 0, a year with 3. Like he's never really approached that again with touchdowns. And he does have some. He has a 900-yard season, 800-yard season on here, but again his numbers drop off pretty drastically after that. But he doesn't really approach that rookie phenomena later in his career. Ray, do you have anything to add about old Mike Ditka?
Well, when you think of the Bears, that's probably one of the prime names that come up. So I put that into factor. Plus, him being a coach as well kind of added to the going into putting the list together. So, I mean, besides him being a phenomenal, pretty good tight end and all his accolades and being a coach, I thought throw him on there too.
Well, I have questions.
Okay.
I do believe he is. He is famous, so that does play a role. But as a general rule, Bears fans hate Mike Ditka because they think he ruined their chances of winning more because of the Doug Flutie stuff and he's not very well liked in Chicago. Does that play a role?
Well, not in my view, because I'm not a Bears fan, so I care less about what they got to say. So that's probably more of a Drew question, since he is the Bear fan.
I don't know. For part of the thing, I'm just thinking about what he did playing days. I thought we kind of agreed at the beginning that we weren't doing coaching and owners and all that. So,
I'm not trying to add in his coaching stuff to it. I'm just saying he's not well liked anymore. So I didn't know if that played a role.
I still don't mind Mike Ditka. I know after Super Bowl all that stuff happened, there's lots of...
You weren't alive in 1986.
I know, I wasn't alive.
Neither was I, mind you. But
so I've heard some of it. I don't know all of it because obviously we weren't alive, but yeah. And obviously we know him and Buddy Ryan did not get along whatsoever.
I think to a common fan, though, lots of people think I did give when they think of the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears.
But yes,
Yeah,
and
one of
the
the
whole
most
thing
famous
with him
things
not
ever
letting Walter Payton get a touchdown. in the
yeah, I
Super
was
Bowl.
going to say that's a big one,
did
too.
not
Walter
sit
never
well.
forgave him for that.
Yeah, that didn't
No.
sit well.
And Mike Ditka says and stuff, because I watched something the other night on the Bears, and he says, well, if I would have known all that stuff, I would have got him, but I was wrapped up in the moment. He uses that, but still, you have to get Walter a touchdown. And then he tries to use the excuse, they were all over me during the game. I'm like, when it's first and goal on the 1 yard line and the Fridges already scored a touchdown, you get the ball to Walter Payton. Like
At least let him try.
Yeah.
You know?
All the times you've seen Walter jump over the lines doing his up and over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you gotta at least give Walter a chance. But yeah, that's probably my biggest thing with Ditka not liking him is he didn't let Walter score.
Yeah.
Because everyone else basically scored a touchdown that day. So
And I'll say this: I didn't really look into Ditka that hard just because of the briefness of his Chicago career. That was where I landed with Ditka. I didn't really do the research.
and the Bears are his longest place he was at, but it was only 6 years compared
Yeah.
to some of these guys who played their whole careers there.
He is the first ever Hall of Fame tight end, and all of his best years did come in Chicago.
All right. Well, is that everybody's number 4 now?
No, I have one.
Oh, Ray, you have one. Sorry.
So mine's a little off the wall, but I went with Doug Atkins, defensive end. He's got 94.5 sacks, 8 Pro Bowls, 2-time NFL champ, and he's on the All-60s team. So I thought maybe I'll throw him in there and we can kind of talk about him, I guess.
I remember the name, but I don't
Yeah, I'm
remember
not-
him
Yeah,
too
I'm not
much.
familiar. I'm pulling him up. Oh, he's a big guy. For playing so long ago. He's 6'8", 260.
Wow.
Crap.
Defensive end, it says here. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro. He's a 2-time champ, All-60s team, Hall of Famer. They have sacks for part of his career, from 60 to 69. They have sacks, and in those years he had 94.5 sacks.
That's impressive.
But he also played from 53 to 60, so there's 7 years of his career with no sacks.
So he probably has a nice.
Yeah.
Sack
He probably
total.
has a shitload of sacks, yes.
Okay. So he probably was a monster. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
6'8", 260 back then.
Probably just reached.
That was huge.
Yeah.
6'8", I mean,
Imagine trying to pass over that guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just take away a whole side of the field if he just puts his arms up.
Yeah.
But Ray, he doesn't have any touchdowns.
Well, I mean, you gotta cut your losses sometimes, you know. You can't always go with the main line here and like the Urlachers and the Aaron Rodgers and stuff. But so I went off the rails and went with Doug Atkins.
That's all right. I like that.
He sounds like a monster. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just honestly don't know who the fuck it is.
I don't
So
either.
I just can't comment too much.
I've heard the name.
Yeah,
I
I've heard
don't really
the name
remember
before,
him,
but I don't know too much about
Big man, though.
No.
yeah,
We're letting the fans down right now. Our lack of knowledge on this guy.
yeah, indeed. But I say he's a worthy admission, Ray.
All
Worthy
right.
admission.
Thank you,
Yep.
sir.
So that's everybody's number 4, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've lost my number 3 already. So does anybody have a 3 left?
I have a 3.
I do. 3, yeah.
I think I
I
do.
have 3.
I don't think he's been said yet.
Wade, who's your 3, buddy?
Gale Sayers.
Gail Sayers
Forgot about him.
is Mark's number 3.
All right.
Ah. He's not on my list, but I
Yeah,
love
he's
Gale.
he's
Sayers.
not
He
on
did not
mine.
make my list
I love
either.
Gale though.
Did not make my list.
I love the movie Brian song.
That
It is a
is
good
a
movie.
good movie.
I just think between his sheer dominance for that short period of time, his all-around ability of running, receiving, kick returns, and punt returns. I know it was for a short period of time, but like he's still popular today. Like if you talk, like lots of people talk about Gale Sayers and how dominant he was, and how he was the first, unstoppable, shifty speed guy that was just blew everybody out of the water. Like we kind of talked about in the Lions episode, how he was kind of Barry before Barry. Like he was just this unstoppable, untouchable guy. And if he played a little later and he had a knee injury or two, he would have bounced back and kept playing. But he played so long ago, it was a death sentence to have a knee injury back in the day. And so it's just kind of, bad timing there. But
I agree with what you're saying, Wade. I've heard, even Mark talks about him like he walked on water.
everyone does, dude.
yeah.
People love Gale Sayers.
Yeah.
I mean, even as a little kid. I mean, I was a little kid when he was playing. I remember thinking, "Wow."
His
I mean,
all-purpose yards are really the big one. His all-purpose yards and his total number of touchdowns between rushing, receiving, kick returns, and punt returns were pretty astonishing. I believe something in like his rookie year, he had like over 2,200 all-purpose yards and like 22 or 23 total touchdowns in his rookie year. with everything combined that he did.
He rushed for 14 and caught 6 in his rookie season.
Go down to the kick and punt returns, though,
yeah.
too.
And he returned 1 punt and 1 kick.
Just 22?
Those 6 and 2.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
22.
Here's what surprises me, though. He only has 2,000-yard seasons.
Well, look at his rushing attempts. He just doesn't.
Yeah, his
He's
rushing
splitting
attempts
time
aren't
with
very
someone.
high. Well, he led the league in rushing attempts at one point.
Really?
And in 1969.
Because he averages 5 yards per carry, doesn't he?
Yes, exactly 5 yards a carry. Yes, 1 year he averaged 6.
That's pretty good. Oh yeah, that 1 year. But I mean, he's below 200 rush attempts. Well, out of his main years, 3 out of the 5 years.
Yeah, he's over 200 rushing attempts twice.
Yeah, so I mean, and then that's really just the 5-year window.
Yeah, he's
over.
in the league for 7 years, but those last 2 years he has a total of 4 games in 2 years.
Yeah.
That's after the real bad injury that he can't come
Yeah.
back from.
After the devastating knee injury, it just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Which is sad because, like Wade said, like if that was today, the next year he'd come back and be fine. It wouldn't even be like
Some people get better.
yeah,
Like Adrian
Yeah.
Peterson.
Yeah, he comes back and runs for 2,000 yards.
And I believe, like that rookie year, that's the one everyone talks about, like 22 touchdowns, over 22 all-purpose yards. The next year, he has over 2,400 all-purpose yards. That's insane.
He has.
And
in
how
his
many games?
14.
Have they gone to 14 then?
Yeah, it's 14 his whole career.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not arguing with you, Wade, but it says here he had 1,600 all-purpose yards. And
You're looking at the wrong spot. You're looking at total yards from scrimmage, not all-purpose yards.
Oh, okay, my bad. Sorry. I was trying to give him credit for 200 more yards. I don't.
Yeah. Or wait, I thought you said 1,600.
Yeah, so it says you said 1,400, and I said 1,600.
I said 2,400.
Oh, 2,400. Okay, my bad. My bad.
No, well, we're all over the map. Maybe I
We
don't know
are.
where you are.
Yeah, I am at yards from scrimmage. You're right on that.
Oh,
yes.
okay. Yeah, his all-purpose yards is down with the kick and punt returns, and go all the way to the right.
Yes, all-purpose yards, 2,400. His first 3 years in the league, he led the NFL in all-purpose yards.
Yeah, I mean he was just a monster.
He
Maybe that's
was.
why they cut some of his carries down, because he was doing all the kick returns, all the punt returns,
Well,
receiving and
how
running.
many carries was Brian Piccolo getting during this time? And how many years was he getting those carries?
I don't know.
They came in together.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't think Piccolo played a whole lot right off the bat, but then he started playing quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. And then he got.
Yeah, then he
So,
got sick. So.
That's crazy. One guy gets sick and the other guy gets a tragic knee injury, and then it's just over.
And that's if you've ever seen the movie,
Yeah.
they were both there for each other through that.
That's,
I mean, like
what
when
bad luck.
when Gale Sayers got hurt, Piccolo showed up at his house with like a rehab table and
Yeah.
all this other stuff and said, "Okay, we're working now."
Yeah.
So,
And then when Piccolo got sick, Gail would go to like the hospital after every game and like talk to him and stuff. It was. Yeah.
so Piccolo shows up in Sayers' second year,
Okay.
but he doesn't do a whole lot that first year. But then his third year, he has 87 rush attempts. And then in Sayers' fourth year, Piccolo's third year, he has 123 rush attempts.
Well, if you look at Gale, his rookie year before that guy's there, he has the 166. Then he jumps up to pretty much 230 in rushing attempts. And then when that guy starts getting the ball more, he goes back down to 186 and then down to 138. But he's also hurt he misses a couple games that
So
year.
in 69, though, Piccolo drops all the way down to 45 carries.
Yeah, because Sayers has that career high one.
Yeah.
And then he gets hurt. So
Yeah.
they're all over the fucking map.
And Piccolo's done after 69.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
well, pretty much so is Gale Sayers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
And so were the Bears.
Okay, Dad, you have to say that.
Sorry, Drew. But I mean, it
And
is
then-
kind of tragic for your franchise that. I mean,
One of the running backs.
one of the greatest running backs ever, and had his career just cut down.
Almost one play, yeah.
Here's my thing.
Put it picks back.
His rookie year, he returned 16 kicks for an average of 15 yards per return, which is, 15 yards per returner, and returns one for a touchdown. So he's obviously very good at it. the following years, unless I'm missing something, he only returns 6, 3, 2, and then never returns anymore the rest of his career. And still gets another touchdown one of those years. Like, why'd they just randomly have him quit? They still had him do kick returns the whole time.
Yeah,
Maybe they were trying to save wear and tear. I mean, he was
They
doing
only doing-
everything.
yeah.
He was rushing, he was catching, because he has like multiple 500-yard receiving seasons. Like he's rushing, he's catching, he's punt returning, he's kick returning.
Well, why the punt returns? Like that's the one where you probably are only going to do a handful of them a year anyway. Like I just find that
I
so
don't know.
random.
Yeah,
And
I
plus,
don't
you
know.
had him do it the whole first year and then cut him off.
Saying the highlights they have of old Gale, he's just amazing. He just
But like his kick returns, he's killing people. Like for his career, his kick return average is 30 yards. That's insane with 6 touchdowns, all in a 3-year period, and he also returned 2 punts in a couple of those years, on very limited returns on punting. So like I don't know. I don't have the answers to these questions I'm asking, but my point is he was a freak.
just go back and ask Papa Bear why did you not give Gale the ball more?
Yeah. And people still to this day talk about Gale Sayers like he was amazing, which I don't know. I obviously do not know.
If we don't keep Sayers on the list, Mark will have words with us.
Well, he made my list, so.
As he-
I wanted to put him on there, but it was
it's very brief.
yeah,
It is. It's just
Yeah.
it's very brief.
it's hard. Yeah, it's
I mean, because like Wade said, you're really talking about 5 years.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody else have anything to add about old Gale Sayers? And is Wade the only one?
Me and Marky.
Yeah, and Mark, obviously. Yeah. All right. So who else has a 3 left?
I do.
I do.
Let's go with Brock. Brock, what you got, man?
My number 3 is Mike Singletary.
That's also my number 3.
Singletary's not on my list.
He's also not on mine.
Nope.
He's my number 2.
2, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, let's hear this, Brock.
I don't got much on him, but like 7 interceptions, 12 fumble recoveries, 19 sacks. Made NFL 100 team in an NFL commercial 100, college Baylor. It's about much. I mean, I didn't see much research on him, but outstanding
And
player.
he's 10-time Pro Bowl, 8-time All-Pro. He's got the Super Bowl. Obviously, he's on the All-80s team.
2-time player of the
defensive
year.
Player of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leader of the 85 Bears defense. I mean,
Yes.
he really was. And if you ever saw Mike Singletary's eyes right before the snap of the ball.
Yeah.
Yep.
The play in the NFC Championship when he knew where Eric Dickerson was going, and he knew he had to meet him in the hole, and he met Eric.
Yeah.
Doug's Ram right there.
Yeah, as a Ram fan, I wasn't happy about that,
No.
but
Singletary was known for breaking helmets at practice.
yeah.
Well, anybody else have anything? I don't have anything to add. I mean, you guys pretty much covered what I see over here. Hall of Famer, Pro Bowler, all that
Him
stuff.
and Buddy Ryan were close, I think. He took care of Buddy when he got older in his
Right.
life, so he was very close with Buddy. He was before the Super Bowl. Buddy Ryan told him that he wasn't coming back,
Mm.
and he was mad. I think one of the defensive ends threw a chair through the wall after their meeting because like Buddy told him and walked out. One of them threw a chair, and it was just they were all heartbroken because they were like, he's leaving, but yeah, he was very close with Buddy.
I have heard that. They kind of make that case. Is it a 30 for 30 they did on the
Yeah,
85
30 for-
Bears?
yeah.
Probably.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, and I found somewhere, I think it was on the Football Hall of Fame website, that he had 1,400 tackles. Unofficial or whatever, that's what they had.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I read that somewhere.
Yeah, it's like
too.
it's a little under 1,500.
Yeah. So,
We're getting quite a list of Bears.
I honestly thought we'd have a pretty limited amount of guys, but we're expanding more than I thought we would.
yeah.
Yeah, got
We're
a
at
lot of
6
players.
guys so far.
Yeah, we're gonna have at least 2 more. Wait,
We'll have 2 more because I have
Yes.
2 more.
Yeah, I got
Yes,
2
I
more.
have
Yeah,
2 more.
I have two more.
I have 2 more.
I mean, we haven't named Butkus and Peyton. I assume everybody has
well,
those
I
two.
gave away that I
Yeah.
put back. Yeah.
I mean, so. But does anybody have a 3 left now?
I do.
I do.
Oh, race. Oh, 2. Okay.
Oh, shit.
My 3 is Dick Butkus.
He's my 3. Yes.
Okay.
He's my 2.
He's my 2.
He's my
He's
two.
my 2.
Yeah.
We all like him.
Linebacker, all 60s and all 70s team. The Animal, the Enforcer, the Maestro of Mayhem, the Robot of Destruction. When you think of the Bears, that's the notable name besides Ditka, Payton, and Urlacher. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro 5 times, 22 interceptions, 27 fumble recoveries, and 11 sacks. And a man with 4 supremely awesome nicknames. I thought should go on here.
And 2 Defensive Player of the Year.
And he is 2 all-decade teams. He's all 60s and
Yeah.
all 70s.
I think the best thing to describe Butkus is, in 2009, he was voted the most feared tackler in NFL history by NFL Network.
Yeah.
I watch all those top 10 countdowns. He was number 1, the most feared tackler in NFL history.
He has 3 top 5 MVP finishes as a linebacker.
Yeah. So where did Mark have him on his list?
He also went at 2.
2. Okay.
Yes.
I have something to add on Dick Butkus.
Sure.
In high school, he was also a fullback. He wasn't just a linebacker; he was a fullback.
That'd be scary.
Imagine him coming to block you.
Yeah.
Or him at the ball.
Yeah.
Isn't it Butkus that they always play that video of him sitting on the bench, and every time he clenches his hands, blood come out?
Ooh.
Isn't that him?
yeah,
That
yeah.
on the like ESPN Classics video where he keeps clenching his hands over and over, and every time he squeezes, blood comes out, and he just keeps and he's like this, like just staring off into space, like, and you're like, dude, is this Jason Voorhees or a linebacker? Like this is insane.
Yeah.
So were you able to find any tackle numbers for him? Because I didn't.
I was able to find that he had 1,000 tackles, 1,020.
Yep,
Obviously
that's
has
what I
a
had.
short career.
Well,
9
the kind
years.
of collisions he had.
That's what it said.
It's no wonder he had a
Oh,
short
from-
career.
He had injuries and
And
stuff.
then he had real bad knees at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. He played 9 years. Yeah.
If you've ever 1,000 tackles in 9 years, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Especially when you have real bad knees the last couple of years of that.
Yeah, but he started getting injuries, so he had to call it short. But
He also has 22 picks.
Yeah.
It has that he has 11 sacks on here, but I don't know how reliable that is because this is
Yeah.
pretty early. I don't honestly. For me, when I think of the Bears, Dick Butkus is the first person that comes to my mind. He is like the face of the Bears franchise to me. I like Walter Payton more, but Butkus is what comes to my mind. Like this just ridiculously scary human being.
Yeah.
he's the first middle linebacker that comes to my mind.
Monsters of the
I think
Midway,
of the
baby.
Bears. Walter's the first person I think of. But he's definitely the first middle linebacker that you think for the Bears. He's the first one.
Now, you say Walter, but I know that the first Bear you think of is Devin Hester.
Oh yes.
Drew loved Devin Hester when he was little.
I was going to talk about him. I could not talk about the Bears and not bring up old Devin Hester.
Probably that
He's-
amazing speed track over there.
He's best kick punt returner. I mean, I was little watching him just return them over and over. Never got tired of it.
Well, didn't he run one back in the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
against
start the game.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
False hopes. False hopes.
They always try to turn him into a receiver. It never worked out, but he was amazing when he returned kicks and punts. So
He needed to get going. Like he wasn't good like getting the ball and having to make guys miss immediately. He needed to be on the move and up to speed. You know, it was the way it seemed anyway to be at his best. Talking about Devin Hester there, Willard. You look like you didn't know what we were talking about.
I don't know what Dick Butkus. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about Dick Butkus making people miss in the open field for? Get out of here.
All right. Has anybody had anything to add about Butkus before we move on?
Don't think so.
no.
All right. So that is nobody has a 3 left. Nobody has a 2 left. Is that correct?
No.
So
This was my 2.
so does everybody in the room have Peyton at 1?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Walter's number 1.
All
Correct.
right. So Walter Payton is a unanimous number 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
All right, I've got 3 pages worth of stuff on Walter over here. He's my boy.
I've got a full paragraph on him. So.
Yeah, I would say.
Well, go ahead, youngsters.
Bro, he can go first.
NFL all-time leading rusher when he back in the day, led the Bears to the 1985 Super Bowl, set 4 NFL records and 21 Bear marks, the all-time combined yardage leader, rushed for 16,726 yards, was an NFL record when set, and 110 touchdowns, and then in 1977, the UPI Athlete of the Year.
Awesome.
All right. Walter was 9-time Pro Bowl, 8-time All-Pro. He had 1 MVP, 1 Offensive Player of the Year. He had 1 Super Bowl. He was on the All-70s and 80s team. I've got
Turn that page.
Yeah. Walter won 5 straight NFC rushing titles. He rushed for more than 1,000 yards on 10 of his 13 seasons. Walter only missed 1 game during his career. He's like Brock said, he set the rushing when he retired. Dumb Emmitt Smith broke that. What a turd. When he retired, he had the single game rushing record with 275 yards. And during that game, he had 104 fever. So that's right, Michael Jordan. You don't have the best flu game in Chicago sports history.
That's cool.
Wow, shots fired.
Yeah. Fuck you, go to basketball. That's what that meant.
Go, Drew!
I have a question, Drew.
All right, before I get going again.
Anybody can answer this, though. You said he missed 1 game during his career.
Mhm.
It says in 1982 he only played 9 games. Was there a shortened season?
I did read that
Yeah,
he
there
only
was-
missed 1 game in his career.
I
I
think it
read
was
that
shortened
too.
season and
Was it short?
Was that a strike year?
I have no
Maybe.
idea.
pull up. I don't know, Jim.
I read that he only missed
Well,
1 game,
I
and
said
it wasn't
it
even his
quick, I don't
fault.
know.
The coach held him out of the game.
Was that 82?
Yeah.
82 Singletary played 9 games as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it must have been a
Yeah, that
short-
was the strike year.
Okay.
Strike
But
year.
it also says in 1987 he played in 12 games.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Google what the hell happened in '87.
He had more than 300 rushing attempts in each of the years when they were full seasons. Obviously, those other years. Stupid pencil, get out of the way. In Bears history, Walter has more than double than the next running back behind him in team history. He's 4th all-time in receiving yards, only 11 yards behind third and only 80 yards behind second. He is 3rd in points behind the 2 kickers. Walter has in Bears history has the 8 most rushing seasons, and then it's Matt Forte. And then he has the most games started in a Bears uniform. And he has the most touchdowns in team history, rushing attempts in team history. Walter, we all remember him starting up and over at like the 1 or 2 yard line. I started earlier. He was always jumping over at the. He had 77 100-yard rushing games. He has the most catches in team history. Let's see here. I wrote this like at 2:30 a.m., so a little bit sloppy. Walter could do it all. He caught the ball, he ran with the ball, he blocked, and he could even throw the ball too. Walter is the greatest Bear of all time, and he has the case for being one of the greatest football players of all time. And fun fact, Walter has 2 more passing touchdowns than Johnny Manziel.
Walter Payton by Drew Mount, folks.
I will say Walter Payton's passing stats aren't that bad. He's 11 for 34 for 331 yards and 8 touchdowns.
All right.
I mean, that'd be a pretty solid game. I mean,
Yeah.
his completion percentage is a little low, but it'd be a pretty solid game.
Yeah.
I will say, Drew, I really love Walter. I personally think Walter Payton is the greatest running back of all time. And, so he's obviously deserves to be, on his Mount Rushmore. But I can't decide, and I go back and forth, whether a lot of those things you just said are like, holy shit, Walter Payton's that great, or holy shit, the Bears are that pathetic. Because he has over double the amount of yards as the next best Bear. He has over double the amount of touchdowns as the next best Bear. He's fourth, almost second in receiving yards with 4,000 yards.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
bad on the wide receivers part.
Like,
Again, does that go back to the quarterbacks? They can throw screens. They couldn't throw it downfield to the
From the
receivers.
sounds of it, Walter threw the fucking ball more than they did.
Yeah, Walter had pretty good yards per catch there.
Yeah.
Well, just a side note, it's not Walter, but the Bears also have one of the greatest names for a running back in the history of the NFL, Bronco Nagurski.
yes.
Oh, yes.
Nowhere near Walter, but, No.
Yeah.
He did get him 3 NFL titles.
Little side note to your story, Drew. I love that fact about Johnny Manziel.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. I'm like, I got to tell him all this.
That is pretty cool. So that's everybody. We have 8 guys.
We have 2 unanimous. Everybody have Butkus and everybody have Walter.
Did everybody have Butkus?
Yeah.
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 Okay, then Butkus would be our number 2 then.
Sweet.
All
So we
right.
got to fight over, like 6 guys over 2 spots?
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
All right, so let's try and break this down a little bit further. Brian Urlacher made how many lists?
He made mine.
He made mine.
So he made 3 lists. Sid Luckman made 2 lists.
R02.
Mike Ditka made 2 lists, right? Doug Atkins just made 1 list, right? And Sayers also made 1 list. No, he made Mark's. So that would
He
be
made
2.
Mark.
Mark-
and
I wanted to.
Did Mark
like-
have Urlacher or Singletary?
he had Urlacher.
That a boy.
Would that be 4 then or 3?
Before for Urlacher, yeah. And then Singletary made how many lists?
He made mine.
3. So let's work on the one end of this. Ray, how do you feel about giving up your defensive end?
Well, it sounds like I'm outvoted, so that's quite all right.
Okay. Well, I feel like we gave him some attention because you brought him to my attention.
I didn't know who
Yeah,
it
he
was.
deserved it.
Yeah.
He was sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
He's huge.
Had almost
just-
100 sacks, like 8 years after he
Yeah,
started his
right.
career.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is pretty impressive.
94.5, right, Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I would
was
not
impressive.
I wouldn't want to stand in front of him.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so we have 2 linebackers, a running back, a tight end, and a quarterback.
Oh, boy. Oh. I need Mark for my Gale Sayers argument.
I'm with you on Gale Sayers. They're just so short. I want to put him on there.
I feel like
You're talking into a mic that you've unplugged.
Come on, Drew.
I was like,
Fine
man,
with the equipment.
I can't hear Drew, and then I would look over, he's playing with the cord.
well, I guess I'll talk while they fix Drew's mic. I'm back.
Sorry for the technical.
I didn't know what happened.
That was your Bear episode. Come on.
I feel
I didn't
like
even touch the button to undo it either.
Drew,
It
we
just
gotta be in
fell
the
off.
game. Let's go.
I feel like sometimes I factor in like popularity and like your iconicness a lot.
You
So I
do.
think sometimes I do a lot more than a lot of you. I think that's a problem I fall into sometimes. But like Gale Sayers is like not just an iconic Bear, he's just an iconic player in NFL history from back in the day.
I agree with you, but let me ask you this, Wade.
Yeah.
Is he more iconic in Bears history than Singletary and Urlacher?
Those two? Probably not. Now, the other guys, I'd say yes.
Yeah.
I'd say more than Ditka and more than Luckman.
If it's just, yeah, I mean,
I'll
the Ditka Hardman's so weird because I don't know. We're not doing.
Well, let me ask the 2 Ditka guys. If he didn't coach the Bears, would we be having this conversation?
No.
99.9, no.
Yeah, I'll answer for him. No, we wouldn't. I mean, that's what he's most known for with the Bears. I mean, yes, he played for us and had that one,
It is hard
really
to get
good
out of your
year.
mind.
but
Right.
When you think of the 85 Bears, you think of Ditka.
I see him
first,
standing there
I
with
feel
his
like.
Bear sweater. And
Yeah.
Yes. But you don't picture him with the helmet on.
No, you do
No.
not. You don't. I
Yeah,
sometimes
he would-
think I've seen footage of him like back in the day with the Cowboys.
Hey, he won a
Yeah.
Super Bowl with the Cowboys
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that year when we played the Cowboys,
He was there with Tom Landry, wasn't
they won.
Yeah.
We beat him 44-0, and he felt terrible for beating them. And then Landry went up to him after the game and said, "You guys are good," and just walked away and Ditka said he felt tiny. Like, he felt really small. Like, because the Bears just obliterated him in Dallas, and he just felt bad for.
Do you know why he left Chicago? I'm asking because I don't know.
He went to New Orleans, I think.
No, he went to Philadelphia.
He went to
He
Philly
ended up
first?
with the Eagles, but I don't know why.
Well, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Back then, if you left your team, it probably was for a decent reason.
Yeah,
It's-
because they pretty much owned you back then if you
Yeah.
were on their team. Like,
That's why the Steelers were so great, like in the 70s, because they had like a million Hall of Famers and none of them left. They all stayed on that. Like, you usually stayed where you were back then. And he jumped around a few times.
yeah.
Oh, I was thinking about when he was coaching. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Did he get
Playing
into,
wise, Alex. So that's on. I'm not sure why he
did he
left.
get into a big disagreement with Hallis or whatever?
I don't know.
No.
Maybe this is Google's problem. Maybe Google should come up with
figure it
why
out.
he left.
Because no, him and House were still.
They're
'cause
still good?
He told House he wanted to come back and coach someday. The Bears.
Maybe he wanted a quarterback.
Maybe.
Maybe he did.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe he didn't like his coach when he was playing. Maybe that's something to do with
Well, I
don't
mean,
know.
he left Philly 2 years later to go to Dallas. So
Maybe he just happened to be a guy that got traded a couple of times back in the day. That was just rare to see. I honestly don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out there.
I don't know either. I really don't.
Wade, we gotta see what Google says for us again.
Okay, so here's a quote. It says, in his final television appearance as coach of the Bears on WBBM on Sunday night, Ditka said, the main reason Mr. Hollis hired me was not to win football games, it was to restore pride. Okay, well, that didn't
That's coaching.
yeah.
Yeah, everything. They won't pull
Ditka
up his playing
fired Bears
stuff.
coach.
Now it's telling me stuff how Ditka doesn't want the Bears to leave Soldier Field.
Oh, well.
Yeah, well.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't find anything.
So I feel like I pushed in a little bit here on the Ditka argument. So if we're not including coaches, and you wouldn't have added them unless if he wasn't the coach, could we maybe remove Ditka then?
Ray?
You have to block the coaching part out of your mind because we're not including that.
Just
Yeah.
think of him in a football uniform.
And
Okay,
then you
then
won't
yes.
think of him at all.
Yeah.
Catching
Yeah.
passes at Wrigley.
Hanging out with Ernie Banks on the sidelines over there.
All right,
And
thanks,
since out
guys.
of 7 guys, only 2 guys had him on this list. Then, yeah.
So now we're down to 4 guys for 2 spots. Much more manageable.
Okay.
Urlacher, Luckman, Sayers, and Singletary. Let's go back over who voted for who here. We have 4 for Urlacher. We have 2 for Luckman. Just you and I, Uncle Dave.
Mhm.
We have 2 for Gale Sayers. And we had 3 for Singletary.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I will say, Wade, that I was looking forward to hear Mark talk about Gale Sayers because,
Yeah.
like you said, like I've always heard things about Gale Sayers, but like I don't know much. I don't know a ton.
I mean, I know like stuff I've seen. Like literally, I'm not joking when I tell you I used to watch NFL Network like every night, way back in the day. I've already explained this once.
Yeah.
But and like whenever I watched old stuff from back in the day, like old Bears stuff, it was always Butkus and Hallis and Gale Sayers were the only ones that ever popped up on highlights, the only ones I talked about, the only ones that made the top 10 lists. Like people are obsessed with Gale Sayers, like older people that. I mean, I'm not a Bears fan, so I can't go in extreme detail. And obviously, our Bears fans are very young.
I've looked at him as much as I can. I've watched his highlights on YouTube, and it's
like.
but
I mean, he was insane, but I mean,
it was just so short.
I know.
It's just
but
hard. I don't
know. I mean, I'm by myself right now with Gale Sayers, so I don't know. I thought this dude was like we're talking about someone who played what 60 years ago, 60 years ago.
Yeah, pretty
He
close.
retired in '71, so.
But it started in the mid 60s. Yeah, and like people still talk about it pretty frequently today. So I mean, I think that's pretty. No offense, but no one talks about Luckman. People still talk about Gale Sayers all the time.
The only reason why we talk about Sid Luckman is to bring up how he still holds records for Bears passing and stuff.
Yeah, it's usually a negative.
This
But how
many
bad
years
they are.
later, he's
I
still
don't know, I fault
holds
the
it.
guy for what he did, but
Yeah.
that's why he gets brought up now.
So the
I'm not saying he was bad. I'm just saying you don't really hear people talk about him.
no, I get what you're saying. But do you know where he's at on the all-time passing list, Drew? For
Like 218th.
Oh, yeah, he's only got like
no, I mean on the Bears all-time passing
Oh.
list.
Is he third?
Oh, I don't know. I'm asking.
Oh.
I really don't know.
I
the
thought you had it
answer.
pulled up.
It's
and you're
gotta
trying to quiz
be-
Drew.
No, I can try. Hold on.
You think Cutler got more yards?
Oh, Cutler's got like 20-something or 25,000 yards, maybe more than that. I know all time, Jay Cutler has more. I've said this before. Jay Cutler has more passing yards than Troy Aikman.
Well,
Alright,
if you're
so-
decent and you play a
So
while.
Sid
you can-
Luckman is second all-time in Bears
Oh, it's
passing,
close. That's a third. I was gonna say top three.
but with 14,000 yards.
How many does
Oh,
Cutler
wow.
have? He's got
23.
Yeah.
Just for the Bears. I mean, he has more
I
than that
bet,
for his
I
career.
bet Trubisky's top 5.
Trubisky is fifth. Yes.
And he only played, what, 4 years?
Something like
Yeah. That
Hey,
doesn't,
Trubisky made a Pro Bowl, man.
He did.
that's the MVP.
Nickelodeon.
Yeah, this.
I mean, seriously,
these guys
let's just. I don't know if he's gonna be really good or not, but like, let's just use Justin Fields as an example. Fields could be second all time in passing yards for their team with 3 really good seasons.
Oh, yeah.
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 3.
Well, no Bears quarterback in franchise history has thrown for more than 4,000 yards in a season.
Nobody's thrown for 4,000.
Nope. We're the only NFL team that hasn't. Yeah, I know. It's
I was
bad.
going to say, Matthew Stafford probably take 3 years to probably beat Luckman.
When you take his 5,000, his 4,800 yards, and there it is.
And he's got
Yeah.
more yards.
Mm-hmm.
Who'd the Browns have for 4,000? Because I know they went on that.
Well, Baker might have thrown for 4,000 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
what's-
and Brian
um,
Sipe and Bernie Kosar might have
Yeah,
done
that
it.
Anderson guy, like 10 years ago, that had Kellen Winslow and Braylon Edwards, and he threw for a bunch of yards a couple times.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, no Bears quarterbacks throwing for more than 4,000 yards.
Cutler never got to 4,000. I know.
He got high 3,000s, I'm pretty sure, but I don't think he's got 4,000.
Let's go look.
Brandon Marshall,
Old
in that
Jay
1 year,
Cutler.
all he did was just lob it to Brandon Marshall. I remember that.
Well, you guys said Alshon.
Jay Cutler has a 4,000-yard season
It's in
in
Denver?
Denver.
Yeah.
yeah.
But he never threw for more than 3,800.
Yeah, 38 and 36.
Just think though, there for a while he had Alshon Jeffrey, Brandon Marshall, one of the Bennett brothers, and Matt Forte all to throw to. How the fuck do you not get 4,000 yards?
No offensive line.
Well, that's probably a good point.
Well, I think Jeffrey and Marshall were only for a year, and then Marshall left to go to the Jets. And then Forte left to go to the Jets, too.
They were there
short.
longer than a year together, weren't they?
Marshall was only in Chicago for 3 years. Yeah.
Because he was with Cutler in Denver, and then he went to Miami, and then he met him back with Cutler in Chicago.
Because the 1 year, Marshall leads the league in like 2 or 3 categories because Cutler's just lobbing the ball at Brandon. Like, that's really all it was just Marshall
He
jumping
had
up.
3 6'5" guys catching balls from him.
Yeah, and Matt
Yeah.
Forte, who was
Yeah.
a legitimate receiving
Oh, yeah.
threat out of the backfield.
Matt Forte, I think, is underrated.
By the way,
He was very good for a
Jay
while.
Cutler led the NFL in interceptions twice for the Bears.
Oh, yeah. That was always a joke. How many
It's-
interceptions? And then him, this is not good podcast, but him sitting on the sideline like this. That's what he looked
Wasn't he
like.
the one that sent the guy to get a hot dog or something? He was
No.
hungry. Or maybe that was Mansell.
That was Mark Sanchez.
Sanchez got caught.
Yeah, that's-
He got caught eating a hot dog on the sideline.
got caught eating
he was
a
trying
hot
to
dog on
hide
the
it for some
sideline.
reason.
Yeah, he put mustard on
Like,
it.
just eat the damn thing.
Yeah. No, his first year in Chicago, Cutler threw for 3,600 yards and 27 touchdowns with 26 picks.
Oh, gee.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not the worst. Jameis Winston a couple years ago.
I mean, Jay Cutler, he had us in the NFC Championship game. But, you know, good old B.J. Raj, he had to catch the ball.
Drew, why'd you have to bring that up?
Because I watched it, bro.
But to be honest, there's a case to be made for Cutler being y'all's greatest quarterback.
I mean, there is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which
stat-wise,
kind of-
he is.
Kind of knocks down our Sid Luckman argument a little. I mean, I like Sid. I thought we needed to talk about him, and he got him 4 titles. But for the franchise that's maybe one of the worst quarterback ever, maybe he's not in their Mount Rushmore.
We definitely don't think about quarterbacks when
So
we think about the
Are we
Bears.
knocking him off?
We can get rid of Luck.
Yeah,
I'm okay
we
with it.
can give on that.
So
I like
Gale
it.
Sayers
I
and
like
the two
it.
linebackers.
All right. All
It's
right.
even more manageable.
Yeah. Well, I have to be honest. When I've just first glance at the Bears, I thought Walter Payton and 3 linebackers.
I mean, I think it's reasonable.
I mean, that was the first thing I thought of, and
I mean, when you think of the Bears, that's what they are. You think of them running the ball, and you think about the monsters of the Midway.
Yeah, I was about to say monsters
Well,
midway for a reason.
Mark would make me mention this because this is what he told me when he gave me his list. Because he left Singletary off his list, and I specifically asked him. I said, why did you leave Singletary off? And he said, because I think these other guys mean more to the franchise than Singletary does, which includes Gale Sayers.
Okay, this is more of a question I honestly don't know. Because, I mean, obviously Singletary was the leader of the 85 Bears, and he was obviously a tremendous Hall of Fame player. But that defense is also loaded with a ton of other great players.
His job was insanely easy.
Like
he had the maybe one of the not maybe he had one of the greatest defensive lines in the history of football playing in front of him, and he just stood there and tackled what came through the line.
And he also had other linebackers that were Pro Bowlers.
Or he was asked to blitz through the hole that they made for him. Because
Yeah.
when they explained the 46 defense, it was they were going to load the line and they were going to make holes for when the linebackers blitzed to go through. And if they covered the holes, then Dent and them and Wilson would come around the edge and just smoke them.
and
Yeah.
Dan Hampton.
Yes.
And I believe, I mean, some of those Urlacher teams also were very talented defensive. They had him and Lance Briggs and Peanut Tillman.
Tim
And
Jennings.
Peanut. We got to
Yeah.
mention Peanut.
Yes.
That's probably my
Pepper
favorite
for a
player.
while.
I think it was a little later, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about like the Super Bowl year, like
Oh,
06,
Super Bowl year,
07.
yeah. Good old
Um,
Peanut.
But I mean, I think here's kind of what I'm getting at. I chose Urlacher because, one, I like him more. He was my favorite Bear. And two, because he seemed like more of a better all-around linebacker than
He was
Singletary
asked to
did.
do more.
Like he has like triple the amount. Oh, damn, I can't remember now.
He
It was
has-
like triple the amount of interceptions, over double the amount of sacks, like more fumbles recovered, like pretty much everything.
And he has like
Everything.
90 less tackles.
Yeah, and like we're talking about a guy that had like one had like 7 interceptions, one had 22, one had like 13 sacks, one had like 41. Like he was seemed to be a more complete linebacker. But again, I didn't watch Singletary, but that's from what I picked up, from what I read, from what I watched, from all that. But at the same time, Singletary was the leader of the most famous Bears team. So he's also someone people think of.
Yeah, got him the Super Bowl, 2 Defensive Player of the Year award.
Yeah. So popularity-wise, more people might think of Singletary. I don't know.
They're both popular. I mean,
I hate
Yeah.
to put Gale off, but we can put both linebackers on.
We could. We could.
Sorry, Mark,
Yeah,
but
we could. I'll
Well,
drop
maybe-
the sales argument.
Maybe if Mark was here, he could convince us. But he got sick.
Tell Mark I tried as hard as I could.
All right.
and
Gale
tell Mark,
Sayers.
we love Gale.
Yeah.
Apparently, I love him the most though, because I put him on the list.
You don't love him the
All
most.
right. So is that our decision then? Is everybody on board? That has to be what it is.
I'm cool with the linebackers.
Brock, are you on board?
Yep. Is it the 3 linebackers and Walter?
Yeah. Ray, are you on board?
Sounds good to me.
Bears fan Drew?
Of course, yes. That's my 4 guys, so I feel like I accomplished my job. My
All
team, my
Yep,
4
my
guys.
except
There
one.
you go. Yeah, when you're the team's person, you have a little edge in that episode.
But I wouldn't mind if Gale. But
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know that I'm looking forward to the Eagles episode.
it's going to be hard for me to do the Rams episode. I mean, it is.
Right?
I like
it's
them
like
all.
I feel like there's
That's what I'm
pressure
saying.
on you, like
No, I-
as the fan.
I felt like there's been a little pressure over here.
I've had my Colts ones down for a while. But then I get to think about everybody else, and I'm just like,
I could
what are
just
these
see
terrorists
Mark-
going to think
I
of?
could just see Mark- I could just see Mark listening to this podcast.
Yeah, Mark's
Why
not gonna
did
be
they
happy
put
with
Gale
us.
Sayers on?
What?
Mark's not going to be happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably not. Probably not.
Wouldn't be the first time he's been upset with us.
That's true.
Would
That's
this be
very-
more, or would the Dr. J thing still hurt him more?
Did he say we disrespected Moses Malone too, or something like that? And Dr. J.
Yeah, he was irritated about Moses, but he was really mad about Doc.
But we appreciate the feedback.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Still not as mad as Jimmy though.
Jimmy, dude. He sent me another video a couple days ago. He sent me a YouTube video of Bernie Kosar.
We're just gonna have to go back and just put Bernie on, just so we can have some peace and quiet, man. I live in this town. I need left alone.
Ray works in this town.
So do I.
Yeah, Ray, how was that visit at Steak and Shake?
No, we have a devoted listener, so we should be happy.
That is true.
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're not picking on you, Jimmy. We're just giving you a hard time.
Yeah.
All right. So to go back over our list, we have Walter Payton, Dick Butkus, Brian Urlacher, and Mike Singletary. 3 linebackers and a running back. The running back just happens to be number 1.
Yeah.
He definitely.
I got
is.
Gale so close. I got him down to 5. So tell Mark I took him almost to the homeland.
Mark,
I just got so
we try.
close.
So that will wrap up the Chicago Bears portion of this episode and lead us into trivia. And I assume Drew is ready.
I am, but we gotta let everyone get their boards and markers before I
I had a
ask.
marker and an eraser, Ray.
Oh boy, Brock.
I was like, I'll get it when trivia starts.
Brock's up walking around the room,
Yeah,
doing the
I'm-
limbo under a microphone.
I had a marker, Ray.
So Brock, while we're getting stuff, so how loyal of a listener are you? Are you an every episode guy or what?
Oh, sometimes. I mean, depends.
Oh, so no. The answer is no. You're not an every episode guy.
Brock, quote his intro.
And welcome back to Sports the NEMO Way. The Bears episode. Okay, if I have free time, then of course I'm gonna listen up. Then, but if I'm busy and then I get the notification, oh, this episode's up, then I'll watch it later.
But do you watch it later is the question.
He does sometimes, because sometimes he'll just randomly see me and just quote something from the episode. I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, that's what you said in the episode the other day. I'm like, okay. So.
Yeah, you guys shouted me out in the NFC draft episode a while back.
He had to listen to that because that was 2 hours and 45 minutes long.
What did we shout you out for?
You guys were saying about Rams drafting, and then Doug's like, this guy was super light, and Ray goes, oh, he could blow out of bounds, and then Drew's like, well, Brock Schneider's almost that weight.
There you go. All right, so has everybody got their stuff now?
Trivia.
I do, Brock.
All right.
If you listened, I go first.
Brock, are you gonna ask a question or just answer?
I have a trivia, yes.
Oh, look at you! All right,
All right.
Drew, we're ready.
What 3 teams are undefeated in the conference championship games?
What 3 teams are undefeated in conference championship games? Wow, I didn't really think there would be 3
Patriots, but
teams.
they lost to the Chiefs a couple years ago.
Okay.
I really don't know.
All right, I got 3. I'm not confident, but I have 3.
Yeah.
Every time I write down a team, I think of when they lost. Championship game.
Yeah, you just gotta go
Yeah,
for
I'm
it.
not confident either,
You just
but
said
I'm
championship
going
game,
for it.
not AFC or NFC, right? Did you name a conference?
No,
Okay, all right.
because there's a team from each side.
Okay, cool.
I'll give
cool,
you that.
cool. Oh man.
Hope I at least got one right.
All right, I got 3, but I feel really shitty about it.
All right.
Is that everybody?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I put Rams, Titans, Chiefs.
Okay.
I put Raiders, Giants, Redskins.
Okay.
I said Bills, Vikings, Dolphins.
Bills, Giants, Jaguars.
Okay.
And Patriots, Green Bay, and Tampa Bay.
Well, some of you have one, but no one has more than that. It is Cincinnati Bengals. They're 3-0. The New York Giants are 5-0.
got Giants.
And Houston Texans.
I got one at least.
They're 0-0. Oh, and they listed. And they listed them as one.
cheapy.
The question listed them.
Come on.
None of you got 2 anyway, so it didn't matter.
All right.
My
Who was
turn
the
per
other
use.
team?
Sure.
The
Texans. They're the only team that hasn't
I'm
made it to
gonna
a
say-
conference
Oh.
championship.
Matt Schwab didn't go to the AFC title game. Get
My
out of
finger
here.
worked there, Ray.
Make sure I got this saved on here. Are you ready, Alberta?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Double checking, make sure I have this right. Both know I have trouble with that. All right. It's pretty easy, pretty simple. In the year 2000, the Bears drafted Brian Urlacher. With what pick in the draft did they use to draft him?
Oh, crap. If I was alive, I'd be able to write this down right away.
If you were alive, is that what you just said?
If I'd been alive in 2000.
I thought you said if I was alive, I would write this down. Like, you're right here, Drew.
I'm just making a guess. Here.
Well, I was sitting there and I was like, oh, he went to a really interesting college. And I'm like, well, Uncle Doug will know that and no one else will.
Oh, I know the college.
Okay, Drew will. Because Uncle Doug gets every college question known to man.
Right? He got a. Well, you both got a 3A college.
Yeah, Augusta.
Division 3, I mean.
Augustana.
Augustine.
That's a-
You see how much
Some of that's just what I happened to read on the research.
I have an answer, by the way.
Same.
Okay.
Answer.
All right.
Whose question is this?
Wade's.
Wade's.
Wade.
All right, I got an answer.
Is that everybody?
Yep.
All right, I put 9th.
I put 25th.
I said 17th.
Drew's number 15th.
And I said 5th.
Alberta got it. It is 9.
I actually knew it this time because
Ah.
I had his page sitting up here for so long. I saw where he was drafted.
Well, those
Did you know the college, Uncle Doug?
It's
He went to Wake Forest, didn't he?
no, I went to
No.
New Mexico State.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, you should ask the college question.
I know. Fuck.
Hey, Ray, you got a pen?
Yeah.
Dang it.
Drew Stanford trees.
Stanford
Alex got a
trees.
point.
That's right.
See,
Fuck you,
Alex,
Ray.
going to trivia rehab.
All those study sessions.
Yeah. Rehab help.
Oh, fuck. That's what we got to post that now. We
we gotta post it.
we got to post it.
All right. You want me to go next?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Okay. One of the Bears' old running backs was Harold Red Grange.
Yep, yep.
He also went by another nickname. What was it?
Oh, crap.
I have no idea.
So he was on the Bears.
Well, my dad would know this. He'd know it right off the bat.
He's a Bears running back, correct?
Years ago, yes.
Harold Red.
I wrote down a nickname. I don't know what.
Yeah, I wrote one. I wrote a
Yeah, I got one.
I got one.
Is that everybody? Brock?
Okay, I got it.
All right, I put Harry.
I put Red Truck.
But the Red Ranger.
Kells Lambo.
I said shithouse.
It was actually called the Galloping Ghost.
Oh, I did.
I've
I
heard that
did
I've
know
heard that. I
yeah.
should say the Galloping Ghost.
Yeah.
I don't know who the guy's name was, but I've heard the Galloping Ghost.
Yeah.
I put Kells Lambo.
I was focusing on red.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say
Red.
Red Truck or
I
something.
was like, Red Ranger. Let's do it.
Yeah. He was the original Red Ranger.
Yeah. Power Morphin Power Ranger.
Yeah.
Oh, red.
Tyrannosaurus Rex. All right, Brock, are you ready, buddy?
Yep.
All right.
Who was the first Bears receiver to have 1,400 receiving yards in a season?
Bears receiver.
There can't be too many.
I'm going to say there's only one. He was first and only.
I got an answer.
I got an answer.
Well, I know one guy that's done it, but was he the first one?
I got two in mind.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with him.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that everybody?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, I put Marshall.
I also put Brandon
I'll
Marshall.
put Brandon Marshall.
I put Brandon Marshall.
I couldn't think of one, so I said Robinson the second.
It is Marcus Robinson.
Who?
You mean Allen Robinson?
No, it says Marcus Robinson. I don't think it's Allen Robinson. Marcus
He put Robinson.
Yeah, he put
Robinson. Robinson second.
All right. The last name paid off. Well, Alex, you're back in last. Apparently, the resort helped Ray as well.
We helped each other, Ray. We helped each other. We're coming for Drew.
Yeah.
Someone get me.
Oh
Just
my
because of that
God.
video, I hope one of you comes back and wins.
That would be great.
That'd be fucking funny.
Ray, by the way, you should have called me, dude. I would have done a part.
Well, see, I was I thought once I posted that message that you were gonna go watch it, and I waited for like a whole week. Do you like be like, Ray, what the fuck?
I don't have
a message.
I don't have
and nothing.
You said I got something for you to put in TikTok. I don't have TikTok.
Well, I had it on the YouTube
Facebook
channel.
too.
It's on
It's on
Facebook
YouTube.
too and YouTube.
Oh yeah, well, you see how much I'm on social media.
Yeah.
All right. Am I the last one? Or
And
no, you
Alex.
be the last one.
Yeah, go ahead, Ray.
All right. During their first 6 seasons, how many times did the Bears shut out their opponents?
In the first 6 seasons. Okay.
First 6 seasons being a team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. How many times did they shut out their opponents? Welcome back to the Grindhouse,
I was gonna
boys.
say we're just gonna guess random numbers. Like
If Drew gets this, he owns you.
I know.
yes.
And as much as I've been
Hey,
talking shit about,
I'm gonna
Hey,
go crazy.
Aaron
when I
Rodgers.
get
I say if Drew gets this, you and I take him to the resort with us and drown his ass.
all right.
I got a number.
I have a guess.
I have a guess.
Yeah, none of us know this.
Yeah.
If I get this,
Everybody?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, I put 12.
I kind of hope Drew gets it.
I put 28.
I put 15.
I put 0.
I put 3.
He's nodding.
The correct answer is
34!
oh, not this week, son.
I was the
Dude,
closest
I thought
I
he was
was nodding when
actually
you
about
said
to say
28. I was like, no
20.
fucking way.
Oh, if it had been 28,
Oh
you'd
my
have seen it on
God,
Ray's
yeah.
face.
Like last week, he said no one's getting this. I said, oh, I know his name.
From
Oh
a
my
fucking
God.
history paper or something. Or
All right.
Yeah.
LA paper.
Yeah. That's nuts.
The host.
All right,
All right, here we go.
here is my question. How much did George Halas pay for the Chicago Bears franchise?
Crap. I don't think I can get the exact number, but I'll be close.
It's $100 million.
Minus a lot.
It's crazy to think about these questions like this because somebody had a statement last week about how much they paid
Totally
to start,
learned about
how much they were given to start,
$500 to
start a franchise or whatever,
Yeah.
and like teams are worth billion with a B now.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, like,
Imagine like what the Cowboys are worth right now.
yeah,
Like if they were gonna sell, like how much you'd have to pay to be the owner of the Cowboys.
yeah, like the three most expensive franchises are the Cowboys, the Yankees, and the Lakers. Like, like you're looking at like $7 or $8 billion for one of those franchises. Like that's insane.
Crazy part was Dr. Bus didn't pay all that much for the Lakers either. I don't think. Like, I mean, obviously a lot of money like for us, but like
Well, yeah.
compared to what they're worth now, like it's
Mhm.
unreal.
Everybody-
I have an answer.
I got to guess.
I've
Right.
seen this.
You got one, Wade?
Yeah, I got something down.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I got it.
I got something.
All right, what we got, guys?
I said 500.
Said $125.
Said 200.
I said 750.
650.
Oh, you're close, Drew.
Uh,
Yeah, you paid $100.
Yeah, I knew it was only $100 because there's this joke on TikTok how the Bears are only worth $100. I'm like, well, sorry, we've only had 2 owners, the dude and his daughter, and that's it.
Yeah.
She's still alive.
All right. After this week's tallies, the standings are as follows. Wade remains in first place with 8 points. Uncle Doug in second with 7. Drew in third with 4. And Alex and Ray each moved up a point to 3, one behind Drew instead of 2. So, as you can tell, I'm very thrilled. We appreciate you tuning in for this Chicago Bears episode, where we didn't really bring up that much Aaron Rodgers.
We didn't until now.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers.
And
Screw him.
we would appreciate you tuning in next week for whatever team we decide to do that we haven't decided yet. And thanks for tuning in to Sports the NEMO Way.